Hey everybody watching, we are live. We're about to do our little intro. I'm just getting all my windows open that need to be open. We hope everybody's doing good. Let's see how. All right, we're going to do our little intro. Mary, now you've got Texas School stuff. Are you going to be good to hang out for a few minutes after today?
I'm, oh yeah, I'm good. I'm
Okay.
all done with Texas. I've done my class. I'm good.
Okay, so if you're watching on the Facebook Live right now, we're going to hang out for a few minutes afterwards and chat with you guys. We're going to record our podcast like we always do, and so feel free to leave comments, but we'll probably be able to respond to them after we record, if that's cool with everybody. Okay, doke. All right, you ready, Mary? Do my little intro.
I'm ready.
Okay. Welcome to Get
Ready.
Your Shoot Together. I have never messed it up.
You have it. Start over.
All right. Okay. Welcome to Get Your Shoot Together, the photographer's podcast where we discuss studio, business life, and keeping it all in line. I am Kira Derryberry.
And I am Mary Fisk-Taylor.
How you doing?
I'm pretty good. I'm good. I'm having a halfway decent week. I'm going to tell you, I started taking my vitamins again. I kind
Okay.
of so I've been so out of routine, just between going on that big trip and then coming home and the time difference and then this happening. I just have not had a routine where I get up at pretty much the
Yeah.
same time. So I realized I'd really just kind of stopped taking my vitamins, and I started back I don't know, last week, and I was like, wow, I think that actually makes a difference. I feel better, and maybe it's all in my brain, but that's okay. I'm going to be okay with that. So
All
yeah,
right.
yeah. I
Well,
don't
I'm
know.
glad I'm glad that you're back on your vitamins.
Yeah.
Your hair is looking very beautiful and shiny.
Lioness,
We can
very
only we
lioness.
can only attribute that to the vitamins, I'm sure.
Let's do that. And not the volume. The volume is just insane. I'm actually going to post a picture later on my story of my big, big hair.
Of your big hair. It's actually looking really great today. I mean, not that it doesn't normally, but it's looking good. I like
I
it.
usually have my big headphones on, so I think
Oh.
that it kind of is a different look. Those big white headphones, my Beats.
Yeah, I have not been blow drying my hair, so my hair just is a unruly mass. Is what-
That looks good. I told you the other day I love it. It's wavy. I don't think I realized that.
Yes, it is. I have wavy hair that can't really decide if it likes being wavy. Like it's not like fun beach hair.
It's
You
not
know what I
all in.
mean? No, it's not all in. It's just dipping its toe in to having wavy hair. So it really just looks like I didn't brush it.
That's funny.
Is what I end up with.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I knew that was going to happen.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. So I got to tell you guys what I have been doing today. Mary,
Nobody come in between 4 and 5. I've got one son coming in the door and another daughter out the window. I love it. Yay. Okay, sorry. My daughter has had a floppy cow since before she was born.
could you
If
explain
you're-
what a floppy cow is? I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's okay. It's her lovey. Okay, so if you have your lovey,
Like a
with the
favorite
baby,
stuffed animal.
yes, and it's one of those flatter kind of cow. Anyway, it was a cow. Neither here nor there.
Okay.
This has been it's been a very disruptive thing in our family for the past. Oh, hold on, Jax, was it 2 years, 3 years or something? 2 years. She moved out of her apartment and lost Floppy Cow.
Okay.
I let her take it to college with her, which I was against. And before she was born, she's had this. She took it to college, supposedly packed up her apartment, could not find Floppy Cow. For
Okay.
2 years, I have been angry at my daughter
For losing this treasured.
for losing this treasured childhood memory.
Uh-huh.
So they're cleaning out the garage, which is why my house is like a circus today, and the dogs everything's nutty. And she just came to the window to show me Floppy Cow.
Okay, so let me get this straight. So floppy cow, she didn't lose it at college. It has been in your storage the whole time.
No, three or four of her crates she forgot she brought home.
Oh,
And
okay.
they've been in our garage, whereas everything that in her apartment moved to storage because she knew she was coming back from being in Germany and China and moving back to Knoxville for her final year.
Okay.
So she unpacked no Floppy Cow. And it's been a very upsetting thing. Well, she brought two or three crates home of special things. and forgot that one had floppy cow in it. And she just found the crate.
Well,
It's
congratulations.
a happy day
It's a
around the
happy
Taylor
day.
household. But that's what happened. Jackson came running in. Ricky starts barking. Alex is at the window. And I'm like, for crying out loud, all I asked was 1 hour today of peace and quiet. Anyway, sorry, we digress. I apologize.
Oh, no.
It's funny. Does Lucy have anything like that? Like something that
She has these, it's three things. You've seen them.
Okay.
It's these three dolls.
Oh, yes, I have met all of them.
Uh-huh. They
Yes.
all have specific names, and it's very
Twins
upsetting.
and the other one. Yeah.
Yes, we can, yeah, we if we don't have all of them. So when she goes to bed, she has to like hold them all. And they're
Wow.
American Girl doll, like they're big.
They're not little
No.
dolls.
And so, and if, they have to go to the store with us, we have to have arguments about whether or not they can come into the store, on a regular time when we can go to stores. But because I end up holding it is the problem, or one of them, so we understand. We understand we don't call it a lovey, but we understand it.
Yeah. Yeah. But Jax was really he had his too, but they each had these special loveys, and Floppy Cow and Jax had Puppy. And anyway, I've been very angry at her for losing Floppy Cow. I just thought it was incredibly irresponsible. And every time it comes up, which Jax loves to bring it up any chance he got, because anytime he can make his sister look bad is a really good day for Jax, as you can imagine. But and usually joking, but I was really upset. I cried about it when I thought she really had lost it, because I still remember her being little and a baby. And then there's this one vision in my head of her when she's about, I don't know, 18 months, 20 months old, and she's trying to pull him out of her crib between the slats, and she's pulling and pulling, and she pulled his tail off. So she pulled and its little tail came off, and she's pulling, and she looks up and she goes, "Oh, Floppy." That was like out of the gauntlet. She just was so.
I like to think of baby Alex as like a very southern, like Miss Scarlet, like Scarlett O'Hara.
Kinda.
Like I do declare, I've got the vapors.
Oh, Floppy. And she would throw her hand on her head. And I thought, and so dramatic. And I remember just standing there being like, okay.
All right.
So we sewed it back on. Anyway, we have found Floppy. Life is good.
What this makes me think is it makes me think that there's an even greater reason that you likely still have the streamers hanging from your ceiling. Do you?
I don't.
Oh,
Okay.
Did you take them down?
Yes. And I'm sorry the dog's barking.
It's okay.
Yes. So what happened was we thought last weekend the kids were going to leave and go back to Knoxville to pack up their apartments.
To get their stuff.
Graduate. Yeah. Pack up their apartments. So they didn't go. But in a mad dash before they left, I'm like, y'all got to take down these streamers and balloons and all this nonsense that I've enjoyed for a solid month. But Alex said, as exciting as it was to put it up and see how the house looked, it was equally as exciting to take it down and see how the house looked, because we just had it up for so long. And, we kept just repurposing it. It started out as Happy Birthday. Then we changed it to Easter. Then we went back to birthday for my mom. So we got our money's worth out of those Amazon decorations and enjoyed them. But I wasn't going to imagine myself or Daryl getting on a big chair or ladder to remove my daughter had it taped to the ceiling.
No. Yeah. So you needed their assistance. So
that's
a job.
I just didn't think we could go they're going to be back in school, but they're not leaving till this weekend. And then they'll be gone for 2 weeks. And then we're going to go up and get them packed and actually do graduation pictures on campus because we're family. We can socially distance for everybody else. Nobody's there.
Yeah.
Get those done. At least something in their caps and gowns.
Mm-hmm.
And then, they'll be home. And if things go well, Jax will leave for Germany in the early September, late August. And Alex will find a job.
Well, here's hoping.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping.
I am going to miss the streamers, I will say.
Yeah.
I just feel like it had become a part of like because we have been FaceTiming so much that like I expect to see it. So
yeah, I know it's a whole new world around here without the orange streamers on it's a whole new world, but we'll bring it. We'll bring back some decor. Trust me. We'll throw another party and get new ones.
I think you should throw a party for this Floppy Cow.
We might. We're not. We partied for less. Let's be honest. Don't threaten us with a good time. We love a good party.
Any reason to celebrate, right?
I know. Any reason to celebrate? So what are you up to? What are you doing this week? I know we've talked a few times, but actually we've talked not as much as normal. So
Yeah, because we've been busy. Well, you've been really involved with the Texas school stuff all
yeah,
week, and
exciting.
I have, so the last couple of days, let me take you guys down the rabbit hole that I've been going down. Because this,
Very opposite of my rabbit hole. Very,
yes,
very
it's
different.
a very different rabbit hole. So I started realizing that I was getting a little down, and that I would feel better if I would work on some art, do some creative stuff. And so I started to do that, and then I started to think, I've always wanted to learn Capture One. I tried to learn Capture One last year. It didn't work out for me, but let me download it again. Let me see what's new. Let me watch some videos. So I watched just enough to get excited about, like, I can do this. Like, I can get into this. So what's happened
Of course
now?
you can.
Of course I can. But what's happened now is, for the last 2 days in a row, I've gotten up early before Lucy gets up, so that I have this like devoted time to really work on it. And I did a photo shoot of Lucy last weekend in the studio, which was
Hmm.
so fun and worked out really well. So I had new things to play with, new images to play with. And so I'm like, I'm going to process these all through Capture One. I'm going to
Right.
force myself to process these through Capture One. And as I'm working on it, and I watch a video on how to do some skin retouching and everything, I'm so fast at Lightroom, Mary. I mean, I am. I take for granted how well versed in Lightroom I am. And so, anyway, I get into Capture One, and I'm so slow. It's so slow for me because I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't know where anything is, and it's frustrating because I only need to work on like 4 photos, and so four
Right.
photos is taking me forever. So maybe this morning I start messing with the skin. There's a skin tone editor, which is magnificent if I actually knew how to use it correctly. But what it does is, if you have, for example, like, how when the shadow falls off and you have like a purple hand, but the face is the right color, it has a great tool for you to be able to match that skin tone very easily and quickly, right?
In Lightroom,
In Capture One.
Capture One. Okay.
Yes, and so that's very appealing. But also it allows you, like, if you've got people with like really ruddy skin tones, or if they've got dark spots and weird highlights, you're able to kind of get all that really even really quickly. And so I learned how to do that, and I thought I had done. And Lucy has beautiful skin, so it's not like she was a hard subject.
Right. Not a lot to do there.
No, but I was just trying to play with it, and I got it, and I was like, yeah, I get this. I get this. And so I get up and I go and I make myself some coffee, and I come and I sit down, and I realize I have turned her orange. Like, because when you're working on something and you're too close
Yes.
to it, and then,
Yes.
yeah. And so then I take off all the changes I've made, and I start over. I do it again. I said, this time it's better. And so I get up and I leave, and I come back and I look at it, and now she's green.
Oh
And so then,
no.
I'm looking at it, and I said, you know what? I'm going to send it to my phone and look at it on my phone and see if there's like some, this is the rabbit hole. This is the downward spiral that I'm trying to get you guys to follow me on. So I send it to my phone and I look at it. Well, she looks terrible. She basically it's like the most low contrast, ridiculous thing I've ever seen. And I'm like, okay, I'm better than this. What's happening? And what's happening? And so then I pull out the old Color Monkey, which is my screen color calibrator, and I was like, you know what? I'm home now. I don't think I've really calibrated. I've moved this computer around. I've done stuff. I need to recalibrate. So I plug everything in. I get all the stuff up. It's not working, and I realize this doesn't work for my computer anymore. This device.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Now why is that?
So apparently, I have the X-Rite Color Monkey
Yeah.
display, and it's only like a year old. Like I bought
Yeah.
it last year. Well, I'm on Mac like you, and I upgraded. I just upgrade as things go, and so I'm on Catalina. Well, they stopped producing this particular model of the Color Monkey display. They've replaced it with something else, and they're not supporting it for anything over 10.14 for the operating system. I mean,
Oh
Windows users
wow.
are fine, but Mac users are just sort of effed. So I was like, cool. So then I get
Wow.
on Facebook and I sell it like immediately. And then I go buy another one. And then it says it's going to be here on May 7th. And I just want you to know how unsatisfying this whole process has been for me.
Mm.
Does that
Yeah.
does that get you? So I'm just going to breathe now. But I will say that what I ended up doing was editing everything in black and white, which had been my original intention.
Right. It's true. Yeah.
Because I had an idea, for that I had been sharing with you about it, but it's very frustrating. But I'm not discouraged.
No.
No, I'm going to get right back on. I've started a little study group with some other people who have a similar interest in switching from Lightroom to Capture One. There's many reasons why you might want to.
Why would you? That's what I don't understand. And
Okay.
I don't do any of this. So I don't know. I don't even acquire my files. Like I outsource that.
Right.
Like I don't touch my files.
Right,
Yeah.
absolutely. So,
Yeah.
so I've got this new mirror. I've got the Z7. I've got the Nikon Z7, which I've only recently really started diving into and learning. And it has a much higher resolution. It's a much better dynamic range. So, things like in low light, you're going to have less banding, less artifacting, more clarity. If you're shooting on a dark, low key background, you're going to have less of that, gradient transitions being choppy,
Mm-hmm.
and so Capture One handles those highs and lows and the color range much, much, much better. It formats the raw. I'm not going to be explaining this as best as maybe Chris Duncan could because he's an expert, but my understanding is it really has a much wider range to be able to handle the shadows and the highlights
The
and the
shadow.
and the, and
Okay.
the range, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's very interesting to me because I shoot on colored backgrounds all the time. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? And one of the problems that I have, even when working in 16-bit and working in the highest, in raw and non-destructive as I can in Lightroom, I'm still having these transition problems occasionally. And
And it's
so
not something you can control with your lighting or your
it is
exposure.
something that can be helpful. Like, so let's say it's worse on paper backgrounds than like a nice painted canvas background.
Right.
It's worse. I mean, there's
That makes
things that you
sense.
can eliminate. There's, ahead of time that will make your life a little bit easier. If you don't have a wrinkled background, if you don't have dramatic fall off with your lighting from light to
Yeah.
dark, that stuff. So that stuff, really, I'm just too much of a perfectionist is the problem. And I just need to know that I'm getting the absolute most out of the images. That's
Okay.
me. That's the
Yeah.
technical person in me that just needs to know that I'm getting everything. Because if I'm going to have all this power in this new camera, I want to make sure that I'm getting all of it out.
Right.
And
Yeah.
according to everything that I read, Lightroom is not capable of processing the images at the full range.
Well, okay.
Well, no,
Makes
no. Say what
sense.
you're going to say. What do you think?
No, no, no. I just okay. So and I know you shot film. I mean, but
Mm-hmm.
since I started my business with film, and now then went to digital, which is even obvious. You look at something that was printed on, I mean, a film image versus a digital image. Even in the beginning, night and day. Like I mean, it was like too sharp, too this, too that.
Right.
Now we're going even pushing it even for like. Is it to the
Do you need
point
all the
where
data? Is what you're about to
do
ask
you
me.
need it all? Like, do we want to look that sharp? Because let me just throw this at you. So, because people spend a lot of time and energy, even on their selfies, running them through the most ridiculous filters I've ever seen in my
Right.
entire life. But to get a really sharp image, they want to get the latest, greatest phone to have the latest, greatest camera so that they can then soften it up and make it look like film again. Not really, but you know what I'm saying. So, I mean, what is the advantage to now? I understand, as a wedding photographer, that's the time when I really struggle with my shadows and highlights
Yeah.
because I'm in a really dark, chapel or church or reception area or whatever, and I my shadows get blocked up or my highlights blow out. That is a time when I could say, okay, if I have a camera that I can push, getting that full potential out of that image, because sometimes the image just isn't, it looks blocked up to me. Like
Mm-hmm.
I want to see detail in that black tuxedo even if we're in a dark room, you know what I mean? Like I still need detail in the
Right.
shadows. So I can understand in that reason, wanting it. But in your clean portrait work,
I
if you're
know.
you're lighting it and your exposure is good, I'm
This is
just
an
asking,
excellent point.
not challenging you.
No,
I'm
it's
just
not.
asking.
And I'm gonna tell you because my stuff is out of camera fine. I
Hmm.
show stuff immediately after to the
Hmm.
client, and I wouldn't feel confident to do so if I didn't. And I'm primarily shooting studio, which is pretty much the same all the time.
Yeah, a lot more nailed down than environmental.
But I will posit this: if you bought a very expensive car that could go very, very fast, wouldn't and you didn't have to go very, very fast. Wouldn't you want to at least go very fast, like just to see what it could do?
No.
No.
No. I mean, I have a car that goes really fast. I have actually a little pretty sporty car. And I don't know. I mean, supposedly it can go very, very fast. The Autobahn. It's a German car, so it's.
Sure.
But yeah, I've never really gone over.
You're
I
not
mean,
curious?
I'll
You're
go,
not curious to see what it can do?
I mean,
See what the
I
difference would be?
don't know. I mean, for me and where I live, if I go, 5 to 10 miles over the speed limit, I'm going pretty fast. So I feel like no.
Well, I hear you on that, and I honestly, I'm a nerd, and I'm just a tech junkie, and it's my own problem. However, I will give you the other thing that interests me about Capture One: the tethering, because with tethering with Capture One is much more reliable and much
Right?
faster. Lightroom is crap for tethering, especially with Nikon, and I've so far have not even been able to get the Z7 to tether to Lightroom.
Mm.
I've looked at all these before. I've tried. I just can't get it to work. I've got everything updated. Can't get it to work. Capture One handles the tethering much faster, much smoother. Less delay, less drop offs. And I tether when I shoot all the time. It's very
Right.
beneficial to me to have something more reliable. Now, if that's the only thing that it does better than Lightroom, I'm okay with it. What I would like to do is if I can do all the same things that I can do in Lightroom in Capture One and have more better and better tethering, more stable tethering, I'm
Right.
okay. I would like to just transition to that. I don't want to use Lightroom and Capture One and Photoshop. There's no
Agree.
reason to add these things. I'm trying to
Totally agree.
replace,
I
you
totally
know.
agree. I always think of Capture One, and I remember when Capture One came out, and all that. I always think of Capture One being very much for advertorial photographers,
Mm-hmm.
commercial photographers. When you're talking about, you think of some of the magazine covers it's really crisp, sharp, almost to,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
or, if you're talking about product or food photography, you need it. You know what I mean? I could definitely see using it for that architecture, rooms, interiors, exteriors. Like I can understand that. I guess with my portrait work, and I just thought of something, Kira, to take you a little bit off the hook here. I end up painting almost everything I shoot, so it makes it kind of silly. I don't need it, but so sharp. I don't need it, but so I don't need that range to be, but so dynamic. Like I don't need that big of a range. I need it. I need great detail. Don't get me
Well,
wrong.
you brought up another thing that it does better than Lightroom, actually. And you can actually, especially, and I understand this is why commercial people use it so much too, you can really hone in on a specific color and
Yeah.
really dial in and bring it the most out of it and just target it. So, and then
Yeah.
do it globally across all of it. So
Okay.
just like in Lightroom, you can apply, or even in Camera Raw, you can apply your changes all the way across, like in Bridge that you've done. But in Capture One, because you can really target those colors, especially for food photography or something like
Mm-hmm.
that, I could imagine that that would be much better. I will also say that it's handling speed wise, it's much faster so far.
Okay. Yeah. Lightroom
Than
slow.
Lightroom is slow, and I got some great advice from Jared Platt. I took a class from him a couple of years ago, and he advised that if you're a Lightroom user, because that's all he uses, is to have a separate drive to run the catalog on, so that you're not bogging down like your main system with the catalog. And so I've
Mm-hmm.
been doing that ever since, and it actually works really, really well for me. But with these new, really large files, and as it's like rendering, each one up, it just takes forever. And so I did notice that when I imported into Capture One, that handled all much, much faster. So, I mean, faster will save me a lot of grief in the studio,
Absolutely.
and I can see it being really nice for tethered headshot shoots where I'm doing the sale right afterwards, or
Hmm.
even if I tether it to a folder, have that folder just auto populate to the compute, to the sales room, and then I could just
Right.
bring them up. I mean, I can see it all being great. The problem is my speed of use. I have got to get over this hump of me not knowing how to use the software, as
Well, yeah.
fast
I
as
mean,
I
it's a
can.
learning curve.
I hate it
Yeah.
though. Like it's taking too long. I want to be really good at it immediately.
Okay. Well, that's probably why have taken so long to use it, is because, that the learning curve part is very time consuming, and, it's like whether it's a studio management software or a new, acquiring software or retouching or, I mean, I talked about painting forever until I finally made
Until you
myself, but
finally did it.
it's slow. I mean, I honestly didn't feel good about it for a year. Um, but it's still slow because it's changing, and every day it changes. It's like things are updating and changing, and a new version of Painter or Photoshop comes out, because I use a combination of both, and it's like, there's a new shortcut. Anyway, it's always a learning
It
curve
was
for me.
well. I gotta say, there's at least three times where I opened Lightroom and started to import the images into Lightroom because I was done. Like I was
Right.
frustrated, and then I would close it, And so I'm trying to do exactly what I tell people to do all the time when you're trying to learn something. Stop giving yourself so many variables. You know what I mean? I
Right.
had images that were perfectly normal images that I would always use, in any session. So let's put them through the software is the thing I don't know how to do.
Mm-hmm.
This weekend, when I did the photos of Lucy, and I have been avoiding using the Z7. I bought it in November and I haven't
Yeah.
used it for a client shoot yet, because I I haven't had the time to really be comfortable with it. It works exactly the same that my 750 works, except that it has a lot of like bonus features on it that make it supposedly much better. So like it has a face follow.
Right.
But I wasn't like fast at turning that on. And so like,
Mm-hmm.
I just hadn't taken the time to like do it. So last week, that was the thing that I learned is I sat down before the weekend, like Friday, I sat down and I watched all these YouTube videos on the focus features of the Z7 so that I could just know what I was doing with it and stop sitting on this camera for no reason.
Yeah.
And then I did the session at the studio and I started to also try a new light trick out. And I looked at Kevin, who was helping me, and I was like, I have never really used this camera. I am going to learn how to use the face following, and I am not going to do anything else. And I didn't, and I really wanted to. So, but all the running pictures that I took of Lucy,
Uh-huh.
that was done with the face capture, the follow focus. So
Right.
I can imagine photographing kids and trying to get that action and that playfulness or whatever. It was so much easier. Oh my
Right.
God. Oh my God. And it was super in focus. And then when I pulled it into Capture One, there is a mask that you can turn on that just automatically looks at all your thumbnails and tells and makes everything green that's in focus. So you know right away when you're looking at the images, if you have a bunch of images of kids jumping up and down, which ones have great focus and which ones don't, without
Oh,
actually
that's fantastic.
without actually looking at the image.
Yeah.
That makes culling much faster.
Yeah, no kidding. Absolutely. Wow, that's amazing. Well, that's cool. I mean, it's important that we spend time learning new things, whether it's, honestly, we've resisted even getting new cameras for the past couple of years because it's like the learning curve is just a lot. I mean, even when I bought my travel camera, that Panasonic, that Lumnex camera, I didn't use it for months because I had to read the manual and it's different because you get used to your camera and then you get something new and it's like, oh wait, that won't change the ISO or that won't change my focus box or whatever it is. When you shoot, I can think of weddings mostly for me. I mean, you have to be fast
You have to be super fast. And
Yeah.
especially if you're moving with them as you know what I mean? Like, let's say you're following a bride and groom down the
Yeah.
aisle or whatever, I
Or
mean,
they're
you've got,
dancing.
yeah, and there used to be the college photography student in me sometimes creeps out and pretends like doing something the hard way is somehow better. And that's just not true. For example, I dial in the focus. Like if I'm taking a portrait, I move that focus point to the eye and I try and catch it and whatever. But
Yep.
that is not helpful when you're working with children. Not as
Right.
much anyway.
Agree.
And so, but somehow like I felt like I was cheating if I had the focus. Basically, it's just finding the thing I was going to focus on.
Right.
It's going to it immediately without me having to do all this nonsense in the back.
Right.
And yet I'm like, it feels like cheating.
Isn't that funny? That's hilarious.
Yeah. But I mean, come on. You know what I mean? That made photographing my daughter was a breeze. I mean, I was able to get the shots that I wanted to get much faster because I wasn't worried. I wasn't having to stop and then look at the camera and zoom in and see if it was in focus and see if I caught it and see if whatever, because it caught. What's wrong with that?
Nothing's wrong with that.
Crafted everything else about the image, and I would have, had I been fast enough, grabbed the focus.
No, that's really cool. So, is that feature on most of the new?
I think it's on all the mirrorless cameras that I get. The
Yeah.
Sony, the Canon.
I think I've heard that about the Sony, and yeah, I've not got to play with the Canon. We're Canon shooters. I can't imagine us changing from Canon.
No, yeah.
If we did, we probably would talk to Sony only because, I've heard so many great things, and we played with the Sony cameras, but I've not had a chance to really, get a good grasp on the Canon. But I assumed that all of them had that.
I think all of them do. And the other thing that's so appealing about these mirrorless cameras is that, with the DSLRs, the body becomes obsolete after a while. But now that you can just like download software and add new features,
Mhm.
like the follow focus, the face focus wasn't immediately on the Nikon, and then they added it later. And
Yeah.
then the eye focus that like really gets down to the eye, they added it in another update.
Right.
So I mean, so that's such a big deal. You know what I mean? It kind of
Yeah, it is. It
yeah.
is. Do you do video with it as well?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And but I haven't. I mean, you can, you know. But I mean, like I said, I only
No, of
started playing
course.
with it.
Right.
I did that Animoto video of my studio space a few weeks ago, and I did that with the D750.
Okay.
But I had a real hard time with the focus because I don't
Yeah.
pretend to even understand video focus.
Video.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But I was only
Yeah.
doing like little 10-second
Yeah.
clips at a time, so it was okay. But I'd like
Right.
to play more with the video feature of it. I bought those lavalier mics, as you know.
Yes, you
Yeah, I
did.
did.
Yes,
They're
you
on my
did.
desk. I have not used them, but
Yes, you did. Indeed. Indeed, indeed. Um, well, that's good. I mean, so Capture One. So that's really been your
well,
week. Then week.
that's been this week. I was feeling a little bad, like like I wasn't really learning anything. I mean, I was learning a lot of business stuff, but I wasn't really, getting some stuff done as far as the technical stuff. But really, when I look back on it, I have been,
Hmm.
and I've only been doing, like I said, the one thing at a time.
Yeah.
Like that one couple of days, it was just focusing on we're going to learn this damn camera,
Right.
like
Right.
and then updating from beginning. Making sure the driver is updated. I even posted in the Facebook group. I was like, "Hey, today is update your driver day."
Right.
So I did all that, but yeah, and then I used it in the studio, and then now I'm using this new software, and I'm doing things.
You are. Yeah. Well, no, you're absolutely doing things. It's been fun to see all the fun pictures of Lucy. That's cool. Really cool stuff. And good. I'm glad because I remember when you bought the camera, and then I mean, it was busy season. You weren't going to bring it then.
I
Then it
knew
was January, and then
I
yeah,
bought it during like Black Friday or Cyber
yeah,
Monday or something like that, and I knew. Yeah, we talked about it then. I was like, "There's no way I'm going to be playing with this until
right,
after the holidays," and then I just never did.
yeah.
Just sat around. And my friend Steve Sacchio, who also owns this camera, every once in a while will text me and be like, "Are you using it yet?" I'm like, "No, no, I'm not."
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
but Steve, if you're listening,
You're using the camera.
officially using the camera. So it's and it's great. I don't know. I don't know. You feel silly for not. It was like one thing. It was the focus, and that was the one
Right.
thing. That's the
That's
reason I wasn't
funny.
using it.
Yeah. So you might be going back to work in the next week or two,
I
right?
am waiting. It's 4:30 here now, but I'm hearing that we're waiting on a major announcement, and so, but the major announcement has been pushed like 3 hours today. so, so yeah, we're waiting to find out. My assumption, this is my educated guess, is that it'll be mid-May for a full reopen, and then weeks leading up to that, the 2 weeks leading up to that, will be partial reopen.
Okay.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
expecting. So I have things scheduled for next week, knowing that we may or may not have to move it. I'm personally having a lot of anxiety about going back to work, but we've
Hmm.
talked about that in other times. But yeah, just I am a little bit. I've gotten acclimated to to this new
Yeah.
life. You know what I mean?
Well, I saw something recently, and it really, and it actually, I've thought about it a lot in different capacities, and just that whole idea of, well, going back to quote unquote normal. Well, do we really want to go back to the normal that we were in? And this is it's kind of a big statement, but the normal of what? Just being rushed and not taking care of ourselves and not taking time and all the negativity on whatever side, whether it's political or social or whatever. I mean, just do I really want to go back? Do I want to go back to what do I want? You know what I mean? Like,
I think things are going to be changed. I think,
yeah,
and I hope for the better. You know what I mean? Like I hope this makes people be a little more aware. You know what I
yeah,
mean, of everything.
Yeah,
but we'll see. I don't know.
we will. I mean, I was kind of hopeful. Some days I'm really hopeful, and I'll be honest. And then some days I see some, post or somebody shaming somebody or somebody, you know, talking that. I mean, my favorite one today, and I saw it, and then I was like, I can't unsee it, and it set my mood. But an entire post about how this was just a real, the whole thing was a hoax, and it was a politically motivated hoax, and da 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 da, and this wasn't real. And I'm like, I know 3 people who've died. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm still sitting here out of work, and no, this is not. Nothing in my fiber of being can believe that this is some hoax or made up plot, a global plot to take down come on, use your brains. It's not like this is centralized even here in the US. This is the entire world we're talking about that's suffering right now. I mean, we forget, I talk a lot to our friends over in Ireland, our, Ronan and 3XM people. And then I've made some friends in the UK, even my friend Steve down in Australia. And, UK, Ireland, they have said no restaurant, no pub, no nothing will open until after Christmas. Those people are out of work, shut down until after
They've
Christmas.
shut it down that hard.
Shut down until after Christmas. There is where Ronan lives right now, he's not even allowed to go. I think it's 2.5, 3, maybe it's 5-mile radius outside of his home, meaning they can go to the store, a doctor if you need it, pharmacy, and go back home. They actually have roadblocks blocked. They can't get out. And we're complaining. I don't know.
That we can't go to the hair salon.
We're complaining that we can't, go to the hair salon. I don't know. And that this is like I don't know. I just don't hear this kind of disrespect and disregard in some of the other countries. And I'm just like, where did we go wrong? What's going on?
Yeah, but you're not hearing it because it's not your, it's not your country. You know what I mean? And so while we're seeing, you've got somebody there who's giving you all this information but there's got to be people sulking in Ireland at home, blaming the government and blaming the world and blaming some other country. And you know what I mean? Like
I'm sure you're exactly right. I'm sure you're exactly right. I just think I think we are very comfortable with just getting online and just saying whatever we want, whenever we want, and not caring about the repercussions or not expecting any, because there really aren't. If you go online, I mean, people can say whatever they want to say. It's just, I think we've gotten very comfortable with that. And I hope a lot of that goes away.
Well, I've tried to do some things for my own mental health, which is not engaging. Like, even when I see something upsetting or if I see something that is very clearly not correct or damaging, I try not to comment because I'm not going to change that person's mind.
Agree.
Unless the comment is just like slightly misguided or, you know what I mean? But like, I really don't engage. I'm not on anything.
Even if I feel like I have a really great point or a really great fact, something to back up my point, I've quit trying. That sounds actually kind of negative too. And but I don't feel like I'm going to be able to jump on a Facebook post and change somebody's mind. If they feel convicted enough in saying it, then you know what? I'm all about free speech. Say what you want to say. However, if I in turn post something that's the complete opposite on mine, bye. Don't get on mine and pay me the same courtesy. I don't want to hear your opinion.
Yeah.
And that's not me living in some, tower looking down and pretending. I know the reality we live in, but I just don't think it's fair. I mean, I'm not going to get on your page and blast you because of what you believe. I will completely unfriend you if you offend me, that's my right. And, but I'm not going to try to change your mind. Not on social media.
No, I'm not going to try to do that. But also I'm not going to, but see, you're unfriending people and I've done it too. You're unfriending people because it is affecting your mental health and your well-being because it upsets you. It offends you. It upsets you. And this is not a time where where we're basically, not seeing anyone else, where we need to be inundated with that kind of thing. So it's for your own health that you have to unfriend or unfollow, which I've certainly done. But I've also kind of checked out of Facebook a little bit. Like I'm on and I'm posting things, photography stuff, and things for the group and things for the pod. But for the most part, I'm pretty checked out. Because I just don't want it to affect my mood. I've tried not to watch too much news. Because when I start, I can't stop.
Yeah.
So
I know. I agree with you, and you're right. And I do like the idea of coming out of this, and maybe we'll be different. Maybe we'll be more gentle with the environment. Maybe we'll be more conscientious about. You will miss this family time we're having so much that we'll be more willing to make time for it, or our spouse, or I don't know. I
You
think we got
know,
away from a lot of that. And
I
we're
I feel like I'm coming out of this. I mean, not that there was any major issues or anything, but like we've been getting along great at my
yeah,
house. You know what I mean? I've been enjoying the time spent with Kevin and Lucy, and Lucy and I, even though homeschooling has been very hard for me, you know,
rookie.
um, it's been it's been nice to get to hang out with her,
Sorry about that.
and she's really loving it. She's really having a good time, and it's just fun. It's just fun to see her, every day.
Oh, I know. And I guess in the beginning it was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy and all this together. And now we're so used to it. It's funny, you talk about all books I read, or, you talk about James Clear's book, or, you talk about Atomic Habits, or, tiny small things or whatever. But after a while, it just becomes an absolute habit. It's just it's normal. And I think it's going to be hard to come out of it, because it's like, well, we can't sit on the patio every evening and, have a cocktail or whatever, or just have, play around, goof around. And because we're now back in that grind. I hope we get away from some of that, I guess, is
Yeah.
maybe we don't need to work 5 days a week. Maybe we need to work 4 days a week. Maybe kids' school schedules should shift and change. I'm just saying it's a great time to look at the world we created for ourselves and maybe modify it, reimagine it,
I
make it a
think
little
you're
different.
absolutely right. I mean, I think that if anything, like having so many days at home and trying to get as much as you can get done, in the last few weeks, I've just sort of been adopting this is the most I can do today sort of idea. You know what I mean? Like, because when I've been trying to pack so much into one day, I'm miserable, like, and I'm stressed out and I'm
And you're making
irritable.
everybody else miserable because
Hmm.
you're unhappy. And I mean, I'm not calling you out.
No.
I'll speak for myself.
Yeah.
If I'm stressed out and done that to myself, then I'm going to take it out. I'm going to come home and I'm going to be grumpy. And that brings that energy home to my poor husband, who's done nothing wrong and doesn't deserve it, or my kids or whatever. So that's kind of where I'm at with all of this. I'm sorry that it took a pandemic for me to like really kind of reevaluate some of this stuff, but that's the grace I'm going to take. Like I don't need to work so hard. And I mean, I feel so important because I'm just so busy and I don't sleep and this, and I'm like, this is silly. Why in the world?
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I'm excited. One good thing that's come out of it is you are learning Capture One and you finally started using your camera.
Finally
So
started
that's all
using
good stuff.
the Z7. Yep. That's all positive stuff. I will come out of this with new skills. I will.
You are definitely coming out of this with new skills.
I
I
will.
appreciate that. I am not sure. I'm going to definitely come out of this with a different appreciation
Less streamers.
for my hairstylist and my nail person.
Oh, I'm not. I'm just keeping my hands in my lap here. I'm
My
not.
favorite thing in my entire world, Audrey Willard, a friend of ours, that she's an amazing photographer in Chicago area. Girlfriend went and got her nails done. I mean, my dog will not stop growling. He's just sitting at the door growling.
Flotty
Okay.
cow.
Yeah, rookie. She got her nails done right before it happened. She is held on
I
to
saw the
those.
picture and the yeah.
I was like, she's like, you don't understand. I mean, I'm like, are you just sitting there like this? I mean, 2 weeks in mine, I'm chewing them off.
I'd have to break them off. I'd have to do
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
She's hanging in. I mean, she is.
Ooh.
I mean, I'm like, wow. All right. Now it's becoming like a Guinness Book of World Records situation.
She's gonna be that like guy with the nails that curl like all the way down.
Yeah. I was like, wow. Okay. Maybe by now she's made other changes. She said she was have to go on Amazon and find some solutions. So we'll see what happens.
My nail place started posting on their social media, on their stories on Instagram, like tips for removing, like some help for removing the stuff that they like for the acrylics and stuff, and for the gel and for the dip and all that stuff. They were posting some how-tos on how to get rid of them at home, because
You know
people
what they
need
call
to.
that? Well, they call that education marketing, which I've started. So that's a one way to be. So I was on a webinar. I don't know. I was listening to my one of my favorite people, Mike Michalowicz, the other day, and his book came out this week. Fix This Next. I got super excited. It came yesterday. I'm so excited. I can't wait to read it. I'm doing it this weekend. It's my plan. My big weekend plan is to read this book.
Right.
Y'all will be hearing about it soon, I'm sure. So, but educational marketing, and that's what we're doing now, like to stay in the forefront and not be that annoying person that's still trying to sell you something when you do not need to be sold to right now or during, or B, just ghosting people and being non-existent, to give them content they can use. So, them talking about how to take care of their nails until they can come back is genius
It
on their
is.
part.
Absolutely.
Much smarter than talking about book your appointment or come in. So anyway, we'll talk about that another time.
We should.
I know.
We should. Well,
Dog situation. I can't wait to see the replay of me doing this to Jax.
Because I didn't even notice you doing it. You were just like,
and then you look up, you're like, okay,
wow.
all right, wow.
Yeah.
I'm not used to being live, and I only still see you just like we regularly podcast. So I forget that this is actually live somewhere. You know that, right?
That's all right. That's all right. Well, speaking of that, why don't we wrap this up and then we'll hang out and talk to some people who are watching us on live afterwards. But I still have to read it. You guys can follow us on Instagram at Get Your Shoot Together. You can follow us on Facebook at Get Your Shoot Together. You can email us at girl@getyourshoottogether.com. You can subscribe to us in all the places where you can subscribe to things for podcasts and whatnot and what have you. And we will see you guys next time.
Thanks, y'all.
All right. Stop our recording, and we are still live on Facebook. And Mary, I am going to bring that up so I can see our friends. Say hi, guys. If you are on, we can officially chat with you now. So,
because we can't do two things at once.
We cannot do two. I'm so sorry.
I can't yell at my dogs and talk to people.
So, Rob Beam was on. Hey, Rob. Janet Bark's on. Karna. Hi, Karna. How you doing? Marissa's on. Larry Lorsey says he misses us. We miss you too, Larry.
I'm going to start calling him Lair Bear.
Lair Bear.
Because I don't know why. When I emailed him today about something, I almost called him Lair Bear. And I'm like, I wonder how he would feel about that. Yeah, today is the anniversary. A couple years ago, we would have been, this is the week we would have been at Texas school together. So it's so crazy.
Right. I was so excited to go. I'd never been.
I know. I hope you still go, though.
Well, that's the plan,
Okay, I didn't know. I knew you were kind of.
No, I'm still all set.
Still taking Tony Corbell's class?
Still taking Tony Corbell's class.
Well, did you log in for the party last night?
No.
Okay, so Larry 2 years ago, the band, Larry, what's the name of the band?
Hi, Rob.
Bad Exposure, I think it's called.
Bad Exposure, yeah.
Rob was there too. So Bad Exposure played. We always have this fun entertainment. Well, Tony Corbell and Joe Galida are they're hilarious. And they've been the photo dudes for years and years and years. Well, last night, Tony pretended like he was interviewing Joe Galida. And
this is the week we would have been at Texas school together. So it's so crazy.
Now I'm talking.
They're hilarious. And they've been the photo dudes for years.
We're not recording.
Well, last night, Tony pretended.
So he's interviewing Joe, and Joe was the Tiger King. Oh. He was Joe Exotic.
Wait, I think I saw a picture.
I posted a picture of it because it made me laugh my face off. But I don't know. It was so funny. It was really, really funny. Tonight at 7 o'clock. So I think it's, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern, is a trade show night. So Arlington Camera will be on tonight with some really great specials and deals. Our friends at Arlington Camera, they support Texas schools, support this industry so much. But obviously they ordered so much stuff to be in this week, and it's all in their showroom, and they need to sell it.
I am so stupid. I should have ordered my new color calibrator
thingy through them.
I might still be able to.
Yeah, you might. And they certainly are going to be online and available. So you can log in. You just go to texasschool.org. You can get the link, log into the Wednesday night party, and you can see all the great stuff Arlington's going to talk about. And there'll be some major door prizes tonight, major giveaways tonight.
You have to. So it's not on Facebook though, right? It's like it's a go-to meeting or a Zoom.
It's a Zoom. Yeah. So you go to texasschool.org. You just get that link, and there's a link. So every day there's a link for education, and you just kind of log in, and you can stay on all day or log in and out. And then there's a separate link for each night for the party.
Is it, and it's for anyone. It's for anyone who tunes in.
Yeah. Anyone that tunes in. Yep. Cool. Completely. Yeah. Now I think you do have to be registered for Texas, or you have to be on the Texas School Facebook page or something, for prizes or something.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Just like their page, or join their page. That way they're confirming that you're an actual photographer,
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Larry says he's been called worse than Lair Bear.
I probably called him worse. Let's be honest.
My friend Robert Hunter says hi. Dawson is on.
Hey, Dawson.
Aaron, Amanda. So Amanda Hunter and Amanda Clark and Dan Francis and Chris Duncan and John Tulipano. Sorry, John. And Jennifer. I'm just shouting out to all of you that I see have commented or said hello.
Like the romper room.
It is like romper room. Yeah. So I don't know. It's just I need to tune in tonight. I need to. One, I want to see if I can get me a deal on that. Spider Elite, Spider Pro.
Yeah. So, and this is a dumb question, but I don't know. You know, I don't do any of this stuff. So I barely have Lightroom on my computer. And I'm pretty sure it's because it came with my like Adobe thing. Mm-hmm. Do you just download Capture One? You buy Capture One like online?
Yeah. So it's just that you can download the free trial and you'll have it for like a week, I think, or maybe it's longer. I can't remember, but I downloaded the trial last year sometime, and then like I get an email from Capture One with like a different coupon code about every 4 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. And so I got one that was like a 25% off, and I just pulled the trigger on it the other day.
Yeah. How much is it?
Yeah. It's a monthly subscription.
Okay.
I think, or maybe I pay for the year. I don't know, 180 something.
Oh, that's not bad.
For the year or something.
For the year? That's not bad.
Yeah, I could be completely wrong on that because I don't remember. Everything's foggy now. Every time I say the other day, it could have been like 2 weeks ago. It could have been today.
It's true. It's true. Every morning I get up and I'm like, what day is it? What do I do? I try to base it on like what I have to do that day. Like if I have a webinar or something, then it's probably like a weekday. Mm-hmm. But the funny thing is this past weekend, I checked out like it was like I'd worked all week and it was a weekend. Like I really treated it like the weekend.
That's
like,
good.
Yeah, it was good. So I'm trying to, keep that going. But I really did this past weekend. I barely even talked to anybody. I barely even like looked at my phone. I was just done.
We did that shoot with Lucy, which was it was fun to get out of the house and go do something.
Yeah.
And so we did that and that was fun. But we didn't, the weekend before we did like a project. We didn't
You painted.
We painted.
You painted that.
Yeah, we still have to paint some more. We just have to venture to the Home Depot again, and I'm not looking forward to it.
I was talking to Jeff Tuchowski earlier, our good friend Jeffy, and Jeff had on overalls.
Oh.
Like Bob the Builder, like Carhartt.
Did you screenshot it?
I did not, and now I just hate myself for it. And I'm sure Jeff's not listening, but daggone it. I mean, he got on the Zoom call, and I was like, yes, because they're painting their studio.
Oh, okay.
So
he wears like that outfit.
It's a full on. Yeah, it's like a serious. It's not like Heat Hall like denim overalls. They were like Carhartt, like so something like Tony Wankett would wear or Audrey would wear.
I always wondered about that because like I have a T-shirt that I paint in all the time.
My daughter does too. She has a T-shirt.
I have one T-shirt and like a pair of shorts, and that's like the painting outfit that I have.
Yeah,
and so but it's interesting to me when somebody. I mean, I guess it's the same thing. Like when you have an outfit that you wear for painting. I guess.
But I mean, like I feel like he bought these for home improvement things. Like it had special pockets and holders for stuff.
I'm sure it's more useful than my Umbros that I wear.
No, I've seen Jeff Tuchowski in like, jeans, a suit, or shorts and a polo T-shirt like that. He's very.
Yeah, he's got uniforms. I just
didn't expect it. He logged on. He had on a baseball cap and working over.
I don't think I've ever seen Jeff in a baseball hat.
It would have been like you logging on today and me wearing like a ringmaster costume. It was so funny.
Jeff, please send us pictures of this. I want to see.
That was Jeffy, I know you're not listening, but you definitely need to send. I'll tell him he'll do that. I don't know. It was so funny. I mean, many other people, I would have seen that. I'd been like, oh, that's cool. That's whatever. But I just didn't expect it. And it just took me so off guard that I was literally the first part of the Zoom call. I'm like, huh. And I know finally he goes, oh, sorry, I'm painting. And that's why I'm like, wearing a full-on outfit like it's a costume.
Well, he used to work construction, or used to do drywall, or used to do, like, and it's probably very useful to have this. It's a uniform.
20 years ago he did it.
Old habits die hard, right? Like,
okay.
I'm sure he wore a bit of a uniform then too. I don't know. Maybe it's
right.
Maybe it puts you in the mindset. I'm just devil's advocate. Maybe it puts you in the mindset for painting. You're like, you know what? I have the outfit. This is what I do now. Like,
what do I need to wear to be a photographer?
Black.
Black, exactly.
That's the very simple answer, is black.
Yes. That's funny. I know. Anyway, it's been fun. It's been a fun week. I really enjoyed it. I've been able to I missed some classes, and I really wanted to hear William Branson's class today, but I couldn't log in. But people are really excited. I'm so thrilled. Big thank you to Texas School, to Don and Cindy and Jenny and everybody who put that together. What a great way for people to, just, I don't know, still kind of have the fun, and the chat's just going the entire time.
Is it going crazy?
Yeah.
So it's like truly like lemons out of lemonade.
Yeah.
Or lemonade out of lemons.
Lemonade
out of lemons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's sad. I know a lot of people are really bummed out. I'm bummed out. Like I'm having a hard time keeping track of the actual date. But you pointed out, you're like, it's Texas School Week, and I'm like, oh, we would have been at Texas School, and then Ireland.
We gauge our lives right now. Not really, not 100%, but our work friends, which right now, I mean, Kira and my friends on the board, or that we kind of like, oh, I'll see you again in this month. And Kira and I had 2 really big trips coming up, both of which have been canceled, on top of the fact that our board meeting. So I should have seen her, for the board meeting, and then Texas School, and then we were going to Ireland. And I don't know when I'll see her again in person.
Oh, well.
As I look for Lauren.
No, as you look off. It looks like you're looking at me. Like on the split screen. I'm totally screen grabbing that.
You're so pretty. Yeah. Here, a picture yesterday, this like random picture of me with my hair. I mean, this big hair. And she's like, you're so pretty. That's just our go-to. So, yeah. It works. Made me smile.
Yep. And you see this, my hair looks like a Ken doll.
You know how look good. I do appreciate the other day that you said you look like one of the Beatles. And I immediately found a picture of a Beatle, the singer.
Because when you saw me, they were like full. They were down, and they were.
It actually did. I mean, we should actually post that, because you actually did look like a Beatle.
I did. It was a lot. I have a lot. My bangs start like really far back, so that's a lot. It's like a what is that shape? Like not a paisley, but you know what I mean. Like it's like anyway. You don't see it? I'm drawing it on my head here. It's that Beatles shape of bangs. No,
I think of the Beatles as singers.
Oh, you don't think of them as people, as hair, as shapes of hair?
No.
Like I do. Okay.
Actually.
Noted.
You're ridiculous. Yeah. So everybody get done, get a little snack, take a little break, log in tonight to see Arlington Camera.
What time does that start? 7?
Okay. I think it's 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
Larry's probably not on anymore. He would know, but maybe he would know. Why do I think Larry would know? If you want to learn how to make homemade pizza or bread or some other crazy delicacy, call Larry.
I actually was like, I have all this rosemary, and maybe I should call Larry and ask how to make some rosemary bread.
Focaccia. Don't you put rosemary in focaccia?
Do you think I could actually make bread? I don't think that's a possibility. I
thought we were kidding. I just thought we were trying to kind of conversation. I didn't think you really were going to try to make bread.
It did cross my mind to try and make bread. And then I thought, that's stupid. No, I will fail. And then...
You don't know that. I have a bread maker, so I can actually make bread, but it's really cheating because you throw it in there and it makes bread. Yeah.
No. So right now I'm very good at making pasta with a bottle of red sauce.
Yeah. Okay.
I have perfected that. It's very good.
We made jambalaya yesterday.
Oh, fancy. Look at you.
It wasn't that fancy. It's just, cooking some meat and getting the rice and moving it all together. It's pretty easy. But.
Well, we've been using the crock pot so much that now if we don't get it started, then it's basically sandwiches for dinner. Or pasta with red sauce.
I feel you. I understand. I can understand you. We may go out later this week. I don't know. The kids are going back, so I may do something Friday night just for fun.
Do some pickup.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, I think you should do it.
Well, hi, people. We're so happy you joined us. Join us. Maybe we'll see y'all later at Texas School at the Arlington trade show night. That'd be fun.
Yeah. I'm going to go. In fact, right now I'm going to go log on and see what our governor says about what we're doing. I think that's happening now. And then, and then I am going to eat, and then I'll probably log on to Texas School.
All right. Well, I'll see you there.
Okay. All right.
Thanks, everybody.
All right. Bye, everybody. Have a good night.